I attended the wedding of my college roommate. Old classmates were all curious about why I broke up with Aster back then. I thought for a moment and seemed to say but didn't say. Probably because of love. For a while, the news that I was a jerkin broke up with Aster quickly spread among my classmates. At the wedding of my college roommate, my classmates were gossiping about why Aster and I broke up. I held up my wine glass, thought for a moment and seemed to say but didn't say. Probably because of love. Because love there will be vicissitudes. The classmate next to me had a dark expression on his face and looked at my back awkwardly. Suddenly, a cool and restrained male voice rang in my ear. "Classmate Xiang thinks I'm old?" I was stunned and turned around, looking into the eyes of the owner of the voice. Almost in an instant, my face flushed. I grabbed my bag and ran away in panic. I swear the whole process didn't take more than 3 seconds. What's going on? Wrong information? The monitor said Aster wouldn't come. But not long after I walked to the door, a black off-road vehicle followed. The person in the driver's seat rolled down the window glass and didn't say a single redundant word. "Get in." I was a bit hesitant. When I was still hesitating, the other person threw down another sentence. "What? Do you want me to carry you into the car?" After hearing this, I scrambled onto the passenger seat in a panic. Because this person is extremely trustworthy and always does what he says. Along the way, I was like a live quail, shrinking my neck and not daring to make a sound. After all, it was me who broke up with him abruptly without a proper ending. The reason was that I thought he wasn't fierce enough. Although this was just an excuse I casually found. After all, I knew whether Aster was fierce or not. "Big Bear, answer the phone. Big Bear, answer the phone." I pointed at my phone, embarrassed lie. This was Xiang Duo's exclusive ringtone. As soon as the call was connected, the little one's milky voice was particularly harsh in the narrow car. "Mommy, cake." I scream. The little one is 2 years old today. I ordered a cake in advance. If I couldn't take her with me today, I would never agree to buy ice cream on ordinary days. After hanging up the call, I told Aster that he could just let me off at the intersection ahead. After buying ice cream, I would go home by myself. The car stopped, but the lock wasn't opened. I was puzzled and turned my head, only to find that the other person's face was even darker than the bottom of my grandma's pot. "Your daughter? How old is she?" I subconsciously said that she was just 2 years old today. As soon as I said it, I regretted it. Aster unbuckled his seat belt and leaned his whole body over. 2 years old? Winnie, did you give me a seamless transition? Even after 2 years, this man can still easily stir my heart. I swallowed and wanted to hide but had nowhere to retreat. Looking at Aster, who was getting closer and closer, I simply closed my eyes. After a while, the other person chuckled and unbuckled my seat belt for me. "Winnie, don't you think I still have lingering feelings for you? Don't worry. I'm not interested in married women. However, I can help with divorce lawsuits. Still, considering our old relationship, the car lock was unlocked. I almost used all my strength to close the car door. Jerk. His mouth is still as venomous. Even if I lose everything in a lawsuit and jump from here, I will definitely not ask him to be my lawyer." When I was about to go home with ice cream and cake, I subconsciously wanted to find the key first. As a result, I found that my bag was gone. It should have been left in Aster's car just now. That jerk made me so confused. What should I do now? I can get a new key made, but it's very troublesome to replace those documents. The business card just now has been torn up and thrown away by me. Is it still in time for me to go back and find Aster? After thinking for a moment, I realized that a real woman never looks back. I'll call the monitor tomorrow and ask her to help pick it up. I believe she will be very happy to help. But now I was standing at my doorstep ready to knock on the door. Suddenly, the stairwell was opened, which startled me. On the 13th floor. Which crazy person takes the stairs? The old lady next door to my house doesn't have such legs. Aster was panting, holding my little bear bag. He slowly approached. How did he find my house? I didn't say where I lived. Right? Or, did he never leave? Has he been following me all this time? Is there water? I'm thirsty. The broken hair on Aster's forehead was slightly dampened by sweat. His white shirt was a bit wrinkled and very handsome. I coughed strategically. I was a bit guilty and my voice was a bit airy. If you're thirsty, go down and buy a bottle of mineral water. A big lawyer like you can't not even have to you on. Right? There's no water at my place. But I'm a bit tired from climbing the stairs. There's no sofa at my place. Then there must be a bed. There's no bed at my place either. Then what's there at your place? There's me. Aster curled his lips. Having you is enough. Me. Too, I didn't win against Aster because Xiang Duo heard my voice from inside the house and opened the door. And at the first sight of Aster, she called out, Daddy. Daughter. Your mother has really lost all face. Aster, on the contrary, was extremely happy. Your daughter has better taste than you. Aunt Wang hurriedly apologized to me from inside the house. Winnie. I'm really sorry. I just went to the bathroom and Duo opened the door by herself. I waved my hand to indicate that she could leave work. It was hard work today. Before leaving, Aunt Wang looked at Aster. That look. A mother-in-law looking at her son-in-law. The more she looked, the happier she was. She hesitantly ran over and asked me, Winnie, is that Duo's father? I couldn't help being stunned, looking at the two people laughing uproariously inside the house. I shook my head. Aunt Wang was rather surprised. Isn't he? They look so much alike. I thought they were father and daughter. After Aunt Wang left, looking at the big and small person around the cake on the sofa, I suddenly felt a bit dazed. Who knew that Aster suddenly looked up and caught me off guard? Winnie, where's the child's father? I rolled my eyes. Aster, a big lawyer, must have a short memory. Just now you were going to help me with the divorce lawsuit. Now you ask me where my husband is? You ask me? Who should I ask? Can you leave if there's nothing else? Today is my daughter's birthday. What if her father comes back and sees you here and accuses me of having an affair during marriage, and doesn't give me my share of the property? I opened the door and motioned for him to leave quickly. Duo was in the bathroom at this moment. Aster pressed me against the wall. His voice was hoarse and charming. Damn it. I just like married women with children. 3 accompanied by the milky instructions for wiping buttocks scumming from the bathroom. Aster reluctantly let me go. Winnie. After getting divorced. Be with me. I pretended not to understand and turned and went to the bathroom. When I came out again, Aster was gone. At night, I hugged Duo and couldn't sleep all night. Aster and I were once a well-known and enviable couple in school. The golden couple. We both won scholarships easily. We agreed to get married as soon as we graduated. I have no parents and grew up in an orphanage. I can decide my own marriage. But as for Aster's side, I don't know anything at all. But he has been trying hard to reassure me. Winnie, don't worry. If the name in the spouse column isn't yours, then I'd rather leave it blank. In fact, I had guessed long ago that his family background was extraordinary because his every move had a different elegance from ordinary people. Near graduation, Aster took me back to his home, as I expected. Luxury cars. Luxury houses. Even the toilet was bigger than the bedroom in our apartment. Aunt Kai was gentle and elegant. After a meal, we got along very well. On the way back to the apartment, even my breathing had a sweet smell. At that time, looking at my silly look, Aster gave me a kiss on the forehead affectionately. Mrs. Kai, please give me your advice in the future. But my dream of being Mrs. Kai only lasted for one night before it was shattered. Winnie, you are a good girl. But soon, we will arrange for Xiaoyi to go abroad. Can you understand what it means? Aunt Kai sat opposite me. stirring the coffee in her hand without changing her expression, seemingly waiting for me to compromise. I understand. How could I not understand? Originally, there was a gap between Cinderella and the prince. Even though I graduated from a famous university, was good-looking and capable, I had no background and was all alone. Compared to a powerful alliance through marriage, what could I bring to Aster? Love? You won't be young forever. But there will always be young people. At that time. Winnie. What will you use to keep Xiaoyi? I wanted to say that Aster wouldn't do that. But when the words came to my mouth, I couldn't say them no matter what. You are a smart girl. Aunt believes you can make the right choice. The card that Aunt Kai gave me was enough for me to squander for a lifetime. But I didn't take it. While Aster was giving a speech in another place, I asked for a long leave from school overnight, packed my luggage, found a new place to live. After sending him a breakup message, I threw away that card and curled up in the room and hid. As if as long as I didn't see the light, time could stay still forever. Aster left. I successfully got my graduation certificate, and also got a sheet confirming pregnancy. Before this, I always thought the world was beautiful. But after leaving school, I realized how cruel this society is to women. Are you married? Do you plan to have a baby in recent years? If so, then I'm sorry. You don't meet our expectations for this position. So I started a life of running away while pregnant. The heroine's process of running away while pregnant is always full of sunshine. As for me, except for taking some online translation jobs in the evening, during the day, you will see me in the back kitchen of restaurants, in the toilets of office buildings, and even on the noisy streets under the scorching sun. The money from scholarships is enough for me to live freely. But if I raise a baby, it's definitely not enough no matter what. Fortunately, I met several kind-hearted bosses. Instead of thinking that I wouldn't work for long because I was pregnant, they even offered to pay me daily. Whenever there were easy and well-paid jobs, they would always keep them for me. Do I regret it? Yes, I do. I regret that I didn't save more money before. Now I still have to run around while pregnant. Although society is much more open now. For women, getting pregnant before marriage is a high-risk bet. 9 out of 10 times. It's a loss. But for me, this child is my salvation. I don't have Aster anymore. I can't live without the baby with Aster. Aster is my first love and the only person I have ever recognized in my life. At that time, I thought that at worst, I wouldn't get married in the future. I would just live with the baby. In the future, I wouldn't feel lonely. Until I was about to give birth. I met Ethan. He lacked a local household registration. I lacked a birth permit and a nominal husband. The father of the child. We hit it off and got married by agreement. A while ago, he said that he had met his true love. So he was going to settle down and get married abroad with his boyfriend. That's why he wanted to end our marriage. When we got the marriage certificate, I took a photo and posted it on Moments. I plan to do the same when getting divorced. I posted a photo of the Civil Affairs Bureau with a playful caption. Life is not easy. Winnie sighs. As a result, within 10 minutes, there were many likes. I twitched the corners of my mouth. When I got married, I didn't get such a big response. The next morning, when I came out of the bedroom with a plain face and scratching my belly, Aster was sitting elegantly in the dining room having a meal. I rubbed my eyes and confirmed it again and again. Well, yes, it was indeed Aster. In my building. He couldn't have flown in. I didn't open the window either. Over there. Aunt Wang poked her head out from the kitchen. Winnie, you're awake. When I arrived this morning, Xiao Kai was waiting at the door. I let him in. Is that okay? I felt my eyebrows twitch. Aunt Wang, you know how to act first and report later. After breakfast, Aunt Wang took Duo to an early education class. Suddenly, with the tall and big Aster in this already small house, It seemed that I was even more short of breath. Aster didn't speak and didn't even give me a glance. Damn it. In my house. He still treats me like air? Don't you know better than me whether trespassing is a crime? I stirred the porridge in the bowl absentmindedly. Where is your nominal husband? Make an appointment to talk to him. If he doesn't accept a peaceful breakup, I'm ready to sue at any time. His inexplicable words, your nominal husband, made my heart tremble. I hoped he would find out. But I also didn't want him to find out. Aunt Wang told me that since Duo Duo was born, your husband has appeared here only a few times. In this case, if we sue, we are almost sure to win. Oh, right. Don't worry. I will definitely not let Duo Duo leave you. Oh, so that's it. Aster, your family runs a company. Why did you become a lawyer? I didn't answer his question but asked instead. Aster finally looked at me. His expression was dim. Nothing can buy what I like. Well, this is very Aster. I patted my butt and was about to see him off. No need to trouble you. I won't get divorced. Next year, I'll give birth to a chubby boy. Lawyer Kai. Remember to give a gift. I said the words that poked Aster's heart the most with a calm expression on the surface. But isn't it also poking my own heart? Still. As I said, some things are enough once you have had them. People who are not from the same world always have to go through separation. So what if Aster comes back? He is still at the top, and I still haven't climbed up. I never think that people are divided into different classes or are high or low. But Aster deserves better. If I were Aunt Kai, it would be a bit unreasonable for such an excellent son to marry an orphan. Aster's expression was dim. He lowered his head and remained silent. Then he slowly raised his head. His eyes were red. His tone was almost pleading. Winnie, you didn't choose me a few years ago. Don't you choose me now? But Winnie, from the beginning to the end, all I want is just you. Winnie, why don't you want me anymore? I raised my head and looked elsewhere. My eyes suddenly felt a bit sour. Aster, go away. Don't come again. I stood up and went back to the bedroom. Until I heard the sound of the door opening and closing. I squatted down along the wall and buried my face. I didn't even dare to cry too loudly. Why didn't I want to throw myself into his arms? Sometimes I especially hate my stubbornness. Why can't I just throw everything away and be with Aster? Don't care about others. But that's Aster's mother. I don't want Aster and his mother to have an unpleasant relationship because of me. Perhaps it's still because of inferiority. That kind of timidity from the bottom of my heart, when I am in a magnificent place. Fave Aster really didn't appear again. But Aunt Wang asked about it every now and then. Winnie, why hasn't Xiaokai come recently? Duo Duo also said she misses him. Our Duo Duo really likes Xiaokai. This is probably the wonder of blood relationship. Father and daughter cherish each other. Today, before Aunt Wang left, she specifically reminded me that Duo Duo had received a vaccine. This vaccine will probably cause discomfort. There may be high fever and vomiting. She has something to do today, and must go home. She may not be able to come back temporarily. So she can't stay and accompany me. So I prepared a trash can, wet wipes, antipyretic medicine, and a thermometer by the bedside early. Sure enough, Duo Duo started to have a fever in the middle of the night. From initially feeling a little warm when touched to finally having some convulsions. I was completely at a loss. I started to put on clothes and shoes and was about to go to the hospital. But there was thunder and lightning outside. The rain was getting heavier and heavier. And I couldn't find the car key no matter what. Holding Duo Duo, I sobbed and looked for the key at the entrance. Finally, there was no other way. I had to call Aunt Wang. Aunt Wang, where is my car key? Woo woo. Duo Duo has a fever. I can't find the key. Aunt Wang was also extremely anxious on the other end. Duo Duo is sometimes naughty and occasionally hides the key. Aunt Wang mentioned several places. I quickly went to look for them. When I found the key from the doll jewelry box, There was also a knock on the door. Winnie. Winnie. I opened the door and found Aster standing at the door. Aster took the unconscious Duo in my arms and told me to quickly press the elevator. Without thinking too much, we rushed all the way. At this moment, the rain was gradually getting smaller. Fortunately, there weren't many cars on the road. Aster drove very steadily. When we arrived at the hospital, he took the child from my arms again and took me to the emergency department. Doctor, the child is currently having a fever. The body temperature on the way here just now. She received a vaccine during the day. She took children's antipyretic medicine. But the effect was not good. I was stunned and looked at Aster communicating calmly with the doctor. He expressed himself effortlessly and accurately. It wasn't until the child was taken away by the doctor that I completely lost my strength. My legs went weak. Fortunately, Aster supported me. When I sat on the stool and calmed down, I realized that I wasn't wearing a pair of shoes. My hair was messy. I was wearing a black sports jacket on the outside, compared with the pink rabbit pajamas inside. It seemed out of place. Before I could think about why Aster would appear at my doorstep, he took off his own suit and put it on my lap on his own. It's okay, Winnie. It's okay. I'll go pay the bill. You wait here for Duo. I'll be back soon. At this moment, I began to be afraid. Just now, I had completely lost my composure. I even forgot to call Xian Yishaoe 10F21. If it were raining and I had to drive to the hospital in a panic with the child in my arms by myself, I didn't dare to think about it. 6 After a while, Aster sat beside me. His expression was somewhat bitter. Winnie, if Aunt Wang hadn't called me today, would you not have thought of me? At the very least, couldn't you call the child's father? When your daughter has a high fever, is he so cruel as to not care at all? It was Aunt Wang. When did they exchange contact information? Aster snatched my phone and skillfully entered his birthday. Unexpectedly, it unlocked. He looked at me, speechless. Then he clicked on the address book and found the husband that I had in order to deal with Ethan's parents. The phone rang twice and was answered. Aster turned on the speakerphone. It could be heard that he was trying his best to control his negative emotions. Your daughter is unconscious at this moment. Are you sleeping soundly at home? Can you sleep well? Afun was probably very confused. What was this all about in the middle of the night? It took a long time for him to react. What's wrong with Duo? Where is Sister One? And who are you? Aster looked at me in confusion. Obviously, whether it was for a wife or an ex-wife, the address Sister One was too abrupt. I snatched the phone and turned off the speakerphone. It's nothing. Go to sleep. Duo is fine. Don't worry. After hanging up the phone, Aster's face darkened again. He sat on the chair, crossed his fingers and clenched his fists. Took a deep breath. Winnie, as long as I want, I can know exactly when, where, and with whom your husband has stayed in a hotel. Winnie, is this kind of person better than me? Am I not that bad? Am I so unappealing to you? Aster turned his face to look at me. His gaze was firm, eagerly wanting an answer. I opened my mouth. 1,000 words merged into one sentence. Aster, is your mother okay? Aster was stunned for a moment when he heard this. Then he gave a faint self-mocking smile. Winnie, what can I do with you? When facing questions you don't want to answer, you always casually give an answer that is not relevant. Tell me what I did wrong. Do we have mouths just for eating? I also really wanted to tell him loudly. But how could I say it? Say that your mother asked me to leave you? But Aunt Kai really didn't say anything. It was me who decided to leave. But now, how could I open my mouth? Or, where should I start? 7 Duo received an intravenous drip. Her body temperature gradually returned to normal. Aster stayed by the bedside and never left. From time to time, he wiped Duo's face and took her temperature. I extravagantly thought that if our family of 3 were always together, This should be the scene. He stayed until dawn. Duo woke up. Aster still didn't leave. After Duo woke up, the first person she saw was Aster. The little one burst into tears with a wow, and stretched out her little arms, calling for Daddy to hug her. Aster responded and took Duo into his arms and kissed her again and again. The little one was very clever. She waved at me from Aster's arms. Daddy. Mommy. Duo. Hug. I was in a dilemma and hesitated. Seeing this, Aster reached out and pulled me into his arms. Duo was so happy that she was giggling. Daddy. Mommy. Duo. Home. I lowered my head and kissed Duo's little face. Secretly wiped away the tears that almost flowed out from the corner of my eyes. I originally wanted Aster to leave, but Duo was so attached to the good daddy that she just wouldn't come out. No way. On the way home, I drove. It wasn't until we sat on the sofa that Duo got off Aster. She even staggered to the door and locked it, afraid that Aster would sneak away. Then she turned and pulled Aster towards the toy area. Although it was a bit helpless. But very. Although I had repeatedly warned myself not to be moved. It was all in vain. While they were playing with toys, I went to the kitchen and got busy. The doctor said to give Duo something light and easy to digest. I took out the cutting board and was ready to start. Who would have thought that Aster suddenly appeared behind me without knowing when? I almost chopped him with a knife out of fright. Aster. Are you sick? Do you want to be chopped? I put the knife in the cabinet. My chest was still in shock. Shh. Duo is asleep. Classmate Xiang. Don't you want to explain this album? I looked at the thick book in Aster's hand and was shocked. When I realized it, I wanted to snatch it. This was everything Aster had posted on social media in the past few years since he went abroad. I printed them all out. There were also pictures of Duo from the ultrasound report. Babbling. Toddling. To what she looks like now. If he took out a single one, he could even see the message I wrote on the back of the photo. Every picture and every word was filled with deep longing. But now this thing is embarrassing for me. I chased from the kitchen to the dining table. From the dining table to the living room. As a result, I was blocked in a corner and had nowhere to hide. Suddenly, his warm breath blew in my ear. He whispered, Winnie. Admit it. You have always loved me, just as I have always loved you. The more I struggled, the tighter Aster imprisoned me. In the end, I blushed and made Aster laugh. Winnie. How can you be shy just by looking? After saying that, he pinched my face again. Why does this person love pinching my face so much? What if it gets pinched badly? Winnie. Now is the time to be shy. Aster stared at my mouth that was pinched out of shape and slowly approached. In my heart, it was as if 10,000 and My Little Ponies were galloping past. Fortunately, the doorbell rang. And it was a very urgent one. It could be seen that Aster was very dissatisfied that someone had interrupted his good thing. Impatiently, he tugged at his tie, gave a resentful look at the entrance, and got up to open the door. The moment the door opened, I heard Deethan crying. Sister Wan. Woo. I'm so miserable. Can you? Oh my god. Who are you? Handsome guy? Ethan, who was crying his heart out just a second ago, suddenly became enlightened, and when he saw Aster. As soon as he heard the word Sister Wan, Aster understood. This was my heartless husband. He invited the person in with a fake smile. Then he went to take a look at Duo's room to make sure the child wasn't woken up. Then he closed the door. As for Ethan, his 2 eyeballs might as well be taken out and given to Aster. Look at this spineless look. While Aster went into the room to look at Duo, I quickly signaled Deethan not to let the secret out. Ethan was greatly surprised. Sister Wan. Have you been blind for so long? You don't want such a stunning person. If you don't want him, give him to me. Thank you. He probably doesn't like your kind of play. When Aster had no expression on his face, he really had a lot of pressure. I felt that Ethan was now nervous and a bit on edge. What's your name? Ethan. Why do you want a divorce? Why? Why? Winnie. Why is this? Dude. You are really seamless. Can you stop sweating and stuttering? Aster put his hand to his forehead. Forget it. This divorce has to happen whether you want it or not. What property do you have under your name? Report it. I'll make a draft. When Ethan foolishly said that he only had a four-wheeled electric vehicle under his name, Aster finally couldn't hold it back. Winnie. I found out that your brain has been eaten by dogs. What are you after? Are you after him taking you to drink the Northwest Wind in his little four-wheeler? As soon as Ethan heard this, he didn't agree. Isn't this pure insult? What did the little four-wheeler do wrong? You shut up. With a glare from Aster, Ethan put his little hand on his knee and obediently didn't speak again. After a series of operations, Aster handed his phone to Ethan. Take a look at the agreement. If there's no problem, sign it quickly. The Civil Affairs Bureau is not closed at this moment. Ethan took the phone and looked at it doubtfully. The general meaning was to let him divorce me quickly. There was no property division between the two parties. The child belonged to me. Ethan refused to sign no matter what. I've already divorced. Why should I sign? How can you force people? Just because you are handsome doesn't mean you can force a good man. I was superfluous to let him enter this door just now. Is it still in time to kick him out now? Suddenly, I felt someone's gaze lock on me again. Intense and somewhat angry. I was like a quail, shrinking my neck. It's okay. As long as I don't look up. Aster isn't looking at me. Well, I suddenly remembered that my little four-wheeler is out of power. I have to go home and charge it. You guys are busy. You guys are busy. The moment the door closed, Aster suddenly grabbed my hand. A soft and charming voice came from all directions. Winnie. Is it that it's been too long since I taught you a lesson? Your courage has grown. How dare you lie to me? Aster sat on the sofa. I was at eye level with him. Winnie. Aster's Adam's apple rolled and went down. Perhaps it was because the weather was hot and stuffy. At this moment, sweat soaked his forehead hair in a mess. Daddy. Grandma. Shy. Aster and I were like springs. Not only did we jump 3 feet high, but in an instant, we wished we could move the Pacific Ocean to put it in between us. Duo was awake. A little one was lying behind the sofa, peeking out with 2 eyes. God knows how long she had been here. I blushed and glared angrily at the culprit. But the other person picked up Duo as if nothing had happened. Duo, what do you want to eat? Let's go and take a look together. Okay? Look. He has fooled my daughter. 9 Aster didn't leave until very late. In fact, he originally wanted to stay. Winnie. Since you are already divorced, why can't you be with me? Duo also likes me very much. Isn't it good for our family to be together? I looked into his eyes. After a long time, I finally relented. I want to meet Aunt. Damn it. I don't want to endure it anymore. How can I resist being moved by the person I fell in love with at first sight? Aster was stunned. His brows knitted together. Finally, he said okay, faintly. Aster left. We made an appointment for him to pick me up at 9 tomorrow. The next day, when Aunt Juan came, she immediately went to look at Duo who was sleeping soundly. The old lady was very distressed. Aunt Juan's children are all in other places. Her husband died early. She likes children. So she took exams for a maternity matron certificate and an Annie certificate. After I finished my confinement, I directly paid her a year's salary in advance, afraid that she would run away. The old lady also broke her contract with her old employer for me. She didn't even take the salary that was deposited there. Girl, you have suffered. In the future, you and Xiaobao can be handed over to Aunt. Aunt Wand is meticulous on weekdays. She is extremely good to me and Duo. She often says that I am her own daughter. Duo is even brought up by her. She is closer than a granddaughter. Today, before I left, Aunt Wang always seemed to want to say something but hesitated. It was very strange. Finally, under my questioning, she finally said it. Winnie, Aster is a good kid. I pursed my lips and nodded. He is indeed good. Duo had already finished eating. Later, Aunt Wang will take her for a walk in the park. After saying goodbye to Duo, I met Aster in the underground garage. The car was filled with Aster's unique smell. Let's go. But later. Don't be surprised. I was a bit surprised. Has Aunt changed a lot in recent years? Aster gave a wry smile. Yes. A bit. I fastened my seatbelt. The car moved forward slowly. Then it must be getting more and more beautiful. Along the way, Aster was rarely quiet. But on the way, I suddenly received an anonymous call. Hello. Are you the family member of Xiang Duodao? This is the provincial hospital. The child has just been in a car accident. Please come over quickly. The car was extremely quiet. So quiet that even without turning on the speakerphone, Aster could hear the conversation clearly. With a sudden brake, Aster patiently observed the vehicles behind and made a U-turn. And I was the same as last time. Tears blurred my eyes so much that I couldn't open them. Aster. What should we do? Duo has been in a car accident. If something happens to her, what should I do? My Duo just came home from the hospital. Why is she back again? Aster's hand holding the steering wheel was a bit stiff at this moment. His tone was also a bit anxious. Winnie. Calm down first. Calm down. How can I calm down? Duo is my life. At this time, there was a small peak. The cars were so congested that they couldn't move. I was so anxious that I wished I could get out of the car and run. Aster held me back and called for help. Winnie, believe it or not, I have always regarded Duo as my own daughter. Don't worry. I'm here for everything. Not long after the call for help was made, the traffic police comrades began to sound their sirens to clear the way for us. I was extremely grateful. I got out of the car and walked to the emergency room. Doctor. I am Xiang Duo's family member. How is she now? The doctor pushed up the glasses frame on his nose. The child is fine. Currently, she is very conscious. There are only some minor scratches. After observation, she can be transferred to a general ward. Just as I was about to relax my hanging heart, I was hit hard on the head. It's just that the old person who was with her is in a bad condition. It should be that she tried her best to protect the child at that time. So she endured most of the injuries. Are you family members? Signed the critical notice. Aunt Wang. Aster went to pay the bill. I took Aunt Wang's mobile phone at the entrance of the operating room and called her son. Before I could say anything, the other person's tone was very bad. What's the matter? Why are you calling at this time? Don't you know I'm very busy? Aunt Wang is such a kind old lady. How can she have such a vulgar son? I explained the situation to Sheng Chao. The other person cursed on the phone. Wait. I'll come over now. Wait for you to pay compensation. From the beginning to the end. The other person didn't even ask who I was or how his mother was. All he said was about compensation. 10. The driver who caused the accident has been taken away at this moment. Drunk driving. Winnie. In this lawsuit, he won't win. Going to jail is the ultimate destination for drunk driving. I don't care whether he goes to jail or pays compensation. I just want Aunt Wang to be safe. In the past 2 years, Aunt Wang has treated me like her own daughter. I don't want money. I just want Mom to be safe. Aunt Wang always said that her son was in other places. I thought it was very far away. But in less than an hour, I saw a couple come in a hurry. Mom, where are you? Your son is here. Who is the one who has no eyes and hit my mom? Come out and pay compensation quickly. Kowtow to me, and maybe I'll let you pay less. Come out quickly. The little nurses kindly reminded them not to make noise. But they were directly scolded and run away by the couple. Seeing this, I stepped forward. Are you Zhang Chao? I am Aunt Wang's employer. Zhang Chao looked me up and down. His eyes were disgusting. Aster wanted to block me behind. I pulled his sleeve and signaled him to be calm. Oh, who hit my mom? Let him come out. Pay compensation quickly. Otherwise, it won't end. I told him that the person had been taken away by the police. If he wanted to know anything, he could go to the police station. I would stay here in the hospital. The woman who came with him smiled incredulously at this moment. You? Stay here with that old woman? Why are you so kind? I showed displeasure and explained the reason. The couple looked at each other and then at me. It's to protect your daughter. Then you have to pay compensation too. If that old woman wasn't because of your money losing good, could she be hit by a car? Before I could refute, I saw Aster go up and punch Zhang Chao. The force was so great that Zhang Chao staggered and fell out directly. Keep talking about compensation and money losing good. Then what kind of good are you? Garbage good? Zhang Chao covered his face and was helped up by the woman. After seeing Aster clearly, he didn't get angry but smiled instead. Hey? I recognize you. You are the young master of the Kai family, right? Why did I hear that your father is dead and your mother is in jail? Weren't you hiding abroad like a turtle? How dare you come back? Before I could be surprised, Aster was like crazy and was about to hit Zhang Chao. I could barely stop him. Aster, be clear-headed. He just wants you to hit him. Aster. I hugged Aster tightly around his waist. My bones almost fell apart. If you two don't leave quickly. Aster is now a well-known lawyer in the industry. There are many ways to find out your dirty things. If you don't want to go to the police station for tea, leave quickly. Hearing this, the two people probably also had a guilty conscience. They patted their butts, got up, and left while barking. Fortunately, Aunt Wang was out of danger and was soon transferred to a general ward next to Duo. As for the driver who caused the accident, he paid a lot of compensation. Under Aster's operation, all the compensation went into Aunt Wang's personal passbook. Zhang Chao and his wife didn't get a single cent. The couple came to the hospital and made a scene. It was ridiculous. The banner read that Aster embezzled my mother's compensation and asked for justice. The hospital staff was also baffled these 2 days. I haven't heard that there is an Aster in our hospital. Many patients thought they were noisy. They told them to find whoever they should find. Don't bark here for no reason. Aster hired 2 nurses and even 2 tall and strong bodyguards. Zhang Chao and his wife couldn't even reach the doorknob. They could only shout at the door, "Dead old woman. You only have me as a son. Are you worthy of being my mom?" The 2 people were thrown out of the hospital gate by the bodyguards one by one. They left in disgrace. Aunt Wang was in tears those days and finally became conscious. Winnie, I want to sever the mother-son relationship with Zhang Chao. Can you and Xiao Kai help me? With Aster taking action, Zhang Chao and his wife had no way to resist. But there is one thing that I care about very much. What Zhang Chao said in the hospital at the beginning, and what he said on the day of the car accident. He said that Aunt had changed a bit. Don't be surprised and so on. 11 Duo is already lively and refuses to go home as she stays by Aunt Wang's side. Well, there are Aunt Wang, nurses, and bodyguards here. Moreover, it's also good for Duo to accompany Aunt Wang. Let the old lady be distracted and not think about those sad things. Aster and I embarked on the journey to visit Aunt Kai again. Although I was already mentally prepared. When the car stopped at the prison gate, there was still a momentary loss of focus. In just 2 or 3 years. How could it be like this? Aunt Kai has indeed changed a lot. The once beautiful long hair has now been cut short. And the once smooth and shiny appearance has now become dull. Seeing me, she seemed very happy. Winnie, don't blame Aunt. Okay? How could I blame her? The Kai family was in turmoil. Uncle died and aunt was injured. If Aster, who was alone, didn't hide abroad, the consequences would be unknown. On the way back, Aster told me, back then, Uncle Kai touched someone else's cheese. When he realized something was wrong, he discussed with Aunt Kai to quickly send their son abroad to hide. But just then, their son brought his girlfriend home. Uncle Kai and Aunt Kai didn't want me to be involved in this dispute. That's why they took this measure. It's better than a young girl like me, who could have had a bright future following Aster and hiding, not knowing when I could see the light. As a result, not long after Aster went abroad, his father died and his mother was framed and imprisoned. The Kai family's enterprise was divided up until there was nothing left. So, that's why you studied law. Aster only made a muffled sound from his throat. At this moment, he seemed extremely desolate. I will definitely bring those people to justice. I looked at the scenery outside the window and suddenly spoke. Aster, do you love me? From the driver's seat. The answer came almost without hesitation. Winnie. No matter how many times you ask this question, my answer is always the same. I turned to look at Aster. Are you calm now? Aster quickly glanced at me twice. His eyebrows raised. What do you mean? Do you want me to be not calm? But this is on the road. I rubbed my hands and spoke faintly. Duo is your daughter. Aster still didn't react. I know. I have always regarded Duo as my own daughter. I sighed and felt relieved. I mean, she is your biological daughter. Suddenly, the car braked suddenly. My forehead almost hit the windshield. When the car behind passed by, not only did they lower the window glass and cursed twice, but they even spat. Really? Aster stared at me with wide eyes. I nodded. Really? After saying that, he took out a folder from the car. I opened it and took a look. It was actually a paternity test report. There were several big words clearly on it, confirming the establishment of a blood relationship. Aster started the car and drove a bit fast. He was muttering something. After listening for a long time, I finally realized that what he was saying was, Aunt Wang didn't deceive me. After saying that, he increased the speed again. I was so scared that I grabbed the seat belt and questioned if he wanted to die. Aster took the time to pinch my face with his right hand. His voice was hoarse with restraint. Well, I want to. 12 When we got home, the cold lawyer turned into a big bad wolf in an instant. He hung his coat on the shelf at the entrance, with his phoenix eyes fixed on me. His voice was charming. Winnie. I instantly blushed. In broad daylight. As a just people's lawyer. How can you be so shameless? Winnie. Stop talking. I looked at Aster, whose breathing was a bit rapid, and slowly stepped forward. Okay. It started to rain lightly outside. The flowers on the balcony, after being baptized, were extremely beautiful. After Aunt Wang was discharged from the hospital, I took Duo to see Aunt Kai. Oh, now she should be called Mom Kai. She looked at Duo in Aster's arms and shed tears. She just kept saying it was good. Really good. As for the wedding, since there are really not many people we know, we planned to get together and have a simple meal at that time. Originally, I wanted to call Ethan, but Aster pouted and was not happy. Why call him? Aren't you afraid he will take me away? Me. So you like this kind of thing? After finally waiting for Aster to finish his activity, on me, I took the time to call Ethan. As a result, the other party said that he was already abroad with his boyfriend. Sister 1. Actually, when I went to your house last time, I just wanted to stimulate him. Look, it was a success. What else can I say? Blessings. In the end, only the 4 of us. Me, Aster, Duo, and Aunt Wang had a sumptuous meal at home. But that night, Aster shamelessly stuck to me again. Wife, can we have another daughter? Me, I give birth to your uncle? Are you okay? If you are okay, go eat some liu you may. Okay? Finally, I directly awarded Aster the best staying up late toward. Later, I found out that Aunt Wing guessed that Aster was Duo's biological father at first sight. Still want to hide it from me? Not to mention the appearance. Father and daughter hold chopsticks in the same way, with the palms facing down. Some things are naturally inherited. As for you, girl, anyone with eyes can see that you haven't let go. Don't you still need Aunt? Fortunately, Aster is very quick-witted. But Aunt really didn't expect that he didn't dare to look at the report he got. When will you two have another baby? Aunt is not old yet. I will continue to take care of your child. I hugged Aunt Wang with tears in my eyes. Okay. At that time, I will give birth to a bunch. You can take care of my children every day. But this was overheard by Aster again. It's very annoying and very tiring for Winnie. Wife, wake up. I just want to ask if you can have a daughter like Duo again. Damn Aster. Are you endless? If you dare to mention the word fierce or not, to me again, I will directly make you get out. Aster lying on the other side of the bed approached me pitifully. Then am I good? Get out. The end.